Okay. So what makes this problem kind of annoying? Yeah, usually you have to come up with a percentage. Now they're giving you a percentage, right? All right, so once again, me. You can tell the arms. Okay, you ready? Okay, so if I say Steve's head is no, Steve's body is 8% head. Head by mass. What does that mean? So Steve's body is 8% head by mass. What does that mean? Yeah. Like, if my entire body was 100 pounds, how much would my head weigh? My entire body, what'd you say? Yeah, 8 pounds. So how much, or how much does Steve's head weigh if his body is 185 pounds? There. So Steve's body is 8% head by mass. How much does Steve's head weigh if his body is 185 pounds? So it's still kind of a tricky problem. Do you have any idea how to do that? Huh? All right, so what you do, are you there? All right, let me do a little sub-problem. If something costs like $400 and tax is equal to 8%, actually in LA it's like 9.99%. We'll say 9%. If tax is 9%, what is the tax? Well, like the tax amount, like in dollars. Right, so what you do is you get your percent and you write it in decimal language. Oh, she okay? Okay, so Steve's body is 8% head by mass. How much does Steve's head weigh if his body's, oh, I'm sorry, we're back to we're not doing that. We're doing the taxes. We're on this one. So you gotta, in order to do math of percentages, you always gotta go from percent language to decimal language. So we know when you find out like, oh, the percent by mass is 0.6438. What is that in percentage? So what did you do? You multiply by 100. Or you could just go like, woo woo, and you get there also. Right? Now, if you have 64.38% and you want to take it to decimal language, you want to go woo woo the other way. Or you divide it by 100. right? So if I have 23.2%, how do I take that to decimal language? Which gets me what? So yeah, divide by 100 and you get, I just said it because the recording is not going to say your voice. It's only going to say mine. No, it's not. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be 2.32. Well, no, you divided it by 10. You didn't divide it. You divided 23.2 by 100. No, there's a point. See the point? No, it's 23.2. Yeah, so 0.232. So this number is the math number. This number right here, very important. This is also SAT stuff. Is for looks. Like this number makes sense, right? If I say like, I don't know, my house is worth 50% of what it was worth yesterday. That makes sense. If I say my house is worth 0.5 of what it was worth yesterday, that doesn't really make much sense. So the number for looks is like helps us conceptually understand it, but you never ever punch a percent number in a calculator. Does she need stitches? Crazy glue. No, like seriously, crazy glue. For cuts that are borderline stitches. Uh, yeah, my father-in-law is a doctor, and he told me that. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he did it. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." No, it's like a thing. It's like an ER thing. Yeah, it seals it up, and then like eventually your crazy glue just like goes away, and it's like sealed up. Yeah. But I wouldn't do it like on something that's actively bleeding. You want to wait a while. Like when I showed it to him, it was just like it just kept spreading it and it hurt. But as soon as we did that, like the pain went away. Okay, you ready? All right. So what did I say about math versus looks? Math versus looks. Which do you have percent? You have percent language and you have decimal language. What's the difference? No, but which one is the one you do math with? Yes. Do you ever do math with percent language? No. Never. In fact, calculators don't have percent buttons on them. Most don't. 99% of them don't. My mom had one, but they don't. Okay? Alright, so you gotta immediately take, if we're gonna do math with this 9% number, to figure out the taxes on your iWatch that you wanna buy, we gotta move this tax into decimal language. Alright, so let's move that tax to decimal language. What do you get? No, because you have to conceptually understand the problem so you can apply it to the real problem. So what's this tax in decimal language? Well, you have a calculator. But you don't say 0.9%. Like once you put in a decimal, you don't say percent anymore. 0 point, yeah, that's 9% in decimal language. You don't have percent anymore. All right. Now you multiply that by 400, and that tells you how much the taxes are. How much 9% is of 400. So if you're going to buy an Apple Watch, what's it going to be? Yeah, that's $36 in taxes. Okay? What's that? Oh yeah, so $36 in taxes. All right, so over here, if my head is 8% of my body, how do I figure out how many pounds my head is? Good. So you're gonna do 8 divided by 100, which gets you what? 0.08. Do I use a percent right there? No. Once you've converted it from percent language, you've converted from percent language to decimal language, so you're losing the percent symbol. It's just 0.08. All right. Once you have that number, what do you do with that number? By what? You multiply. So if you're going to do 8% of is multiplication symbol. You see? So 8%, look, I'll translate it. So 8% of 185. So look, it's 0.08, and of means times, and then 14.8. So what does that mean? I wrote it down though. It's right here. What does that mean? What does this answer mean? I wrote it. I wrote the unit. Pounds. So what did we figure out? Actually, what did we figure out? Yeah, I didn't hear that. I heard you say percent. So yeah, so the head is 14.8 pounds. All right. So that's this idea that we just did is what this problem's all about. Okay? And I'm going to do this problem right here in this tiny little area. All right, so read the problem. So don't worry about the mole part. Worry about just the first part. So this is exactly like the head problem. So they're telling you that there's this body, right? I'll call it like that. I'll do this. This whole body right here has a total mass of what? It has a total mass of 175, but part of this body, which I'll draw as this red part, part of this, well, it's actually a big part of this body, because it represents what percent of the whole body. So the red part is what percent of the whole thing. 54.87. So that's 54.87% oxygen. So we need to figure out how much oxygen there is, just like we figured out how much the head weighed. We got to figure out how many grams of oxygen we have, but it's done the same exact way. How do you do it? Close, but you want to move this into decimal language. Okay, so we're going to get that 54.87 and divide it by what? No. You can't do any math with this number. You can't actually use 54.87 in a calculator. You're not allowed to until you move into decimal language, until you do this part. So you said divide it by 175 or something. Divide by 100. When you divide by 100, what do? Yeah, move the decimal right here. Now you can actually use that number. So 0.5487. All right, so we're going to figure out 58% of the other number, and of is which operation? It's right here. Of is this part right here. Yep, of is multiplication. So you're going to go 58, so 0.5487 of what total number? 175. And then what are we going to get? Yeah, 96.0225. So what did we figure out? 225. It says, no, we figured out the grams, just like we figured out how much my head weighs, like the pounds of my head, we figured out the grams of oxygen. Okay? So that's grams of oxygen. So we got 96.0225 grams of oxygen. All right, but now I'm going to erase this piece right here now. The last question, what's the last question asking us to do? So what they're saying is, well, let's just review real quick. So here's the periodic table, right? And if you look at oxygen, I'll just kind of draw it like this. And your oxygen is, the symbol is O. And what's underneath that O? On the periodic table, I just wrote oxygen as like right here. No, like the number. 16, okay. What's the one up high, by the way? 8? Okay. So what does that 16 mean? It is the atomic mass. It's also known as something else. It's also known as the molar mass. So that's the mass of 1 mole. Okay? That's the mass of 1 mole. But they're telling us that we have a total of 96. So look, they're telling us that we have a total of 96, but we know the total, we have a total of 96 grams basically, but they're saying the mass of 1 mole is 16 grams. So how many of these 1 moles do we have in this 96? No. How many of these 1 moles? Like, what's the mass of 1 mole? No, that's like how many moles. That's like a massive number. We want to know, like this right here is grams. Like everything here is mass of 1 mole. Like over here is hydrogen somewhere up here. Oh yeah, hold on. So 1 mole of hydrogen has what mass? One mole of hydrogen has what mass? 1.008. 1 mole of oxygen has what mass? Okay, they're telling us we have a total of 96. So how many moles? We have a total of 96 grams, but 1 mole is 16 grams. So how many of these 16 grams can go into this 96 grams? Yeah. So if 1 mole is 16 grams, and we have a total of 96 grams, how many moles, once again, goes into 96 grams? 6 moles. So how many moles of oxygen do we have? We have 6 moles of O2. 6 moles of oxygen. Six moles. All right. Yeah.